that has been called by God. And she's a woman that does a lot of the same work that her husband does, due to a lesser extent, because the Lord called him, just like the Lord called Adam, and put him first. And then, yes, he put Eve there as the helpmate, but he the one messed up and then tried to blame Eve, because the Lord gave him the charge. And did nobody tell him to listen to Eve, and when she was telling him to do something wrong? Now, yes, the husband should listen to the wife when she's telling him to do something right, because the Lord did give her the gift of sight. That's right. But when he's doing something wrong, you can't blame the first lady. That's right. So she does the lesser, such as the leading the ministry and teaching members of the church. So most churches have a special ministry that is geared towards the woman of God, towards the women in the church, and it's usually called the women's department. And if you think about it, we have more women in the church than we do men, and that's just a fact. And so it is always under the leadership of the first lady, unless the pastor or the first lady say something different. Now they can put somebody else there, but the first lady is the leading leader, and so she should be in that position to lead the women in the right direction. And so so she does it her husband. She does that as her husband leads the church as a whole. So she's leading the women's department with the okay of her husband and the direction of the Lord. And then her husband is leading the church as a whole. And they are still working together. So she gives the women support that they need. She gives the women the guidance that they need. She gives them the direction that they need. And the advice that they should not be getting from the male pastor. You know, you have a lot of women that have issues, and those issues you should not be discussing with your pastor. That's right. Like raising a female child. You don't need to be going to your pastor, your male pastor, talking about raising a female child. He's not a female. That's right. And he was raised by a female, but he's not female. So he can't tell you. You need to go to your first lady. When you're having personal hygiene issues, you have no business going to the pastor talking about stuff like that. That's why you have a first lady. If you're having personal female sicknesses, you don't need to be telling your pastor, I got cramps. Sure don't. Why do you need to know that? That's too personal. All right now. So you better keep going. And to me, I feel like you have an agenda. When you're talking about something that personal, and you're being too common. So you need to go to your first lady. The first lady can teach you how to govern yourself around men. That's right. She can teach you how to properly adorn yourself and carry yourself as a godly woman. Now, you know, we don't need to be having an attitude, because the Lord has ordained her and called her and chosen her to be the first lady, so she can teach you these things. Because I know her, personally know her, so I know that she comes in beautiful, properly adorned. I know the wisdom of God that lives inside of her. So the first lady is that woman that is called to wear many hats. And this is why we should kind of give the first lady some slack. You know, don't be so hard on her. She walk in and she don't really speak to you that Sunday. And it's not that she trying to be snoopy or something. That's right. You know, sometimes you don't know what's going on with her. That's right. You know what she's going through right now. That's right. Fell down, got her foot all in a boot and everything. You know, you don't even know what she's dealing with all of that. That's right. And then if she come in tomorrow and don't speak like she usually spoke, then you got an attitude. What if her foot, her leg, and her hip hurt? Come on now. Talk about it. And we need to give the first lady some understanding and some slack. Instead of being so judgmental, we need to be those women in ministry, those men in ministry that help to hold up her arms. That's right. Because don't we get attitudes sometimes and dispositions and feel moody and don't feel like being bothered? Well, she do too. Amen. The same way. Amen. Sometimes. So, and she sometimes is the most hated woman in the church world. She's the most sought after woman. Sometimes she's a very admired woman. She's the most envied woman. And she can be the most rejected woman. Rejected just because she's married to the pastor. And maybe you won't. Or maybe you think that you could do a better job. Yeah, you got women that sit in the audience and say, I could do a better job than that. I can do better than that. Honey, you don't even know. And sometimes she's the most loved woman in the church world. So we're going to go to the story of Esther, and I'm going to paint a picture that there is some good news for those that suffer. So in the book of Esther, instead of calling her Queen Esther, we're going to call her First Lady Esther.
All right.
Okay, because this story talks about a First Lady, the life of a First Lady. King Ahasuerus was her husband, and so he is in the position of God in this story that I'm going to tell. Mordecai was the man of God who was the messenger. And Haman was the devil. So how many times, and then the Jewish, when we talk about the Jewish nation is the church. Okay, and they were a people that were stationed in Shushan. And we, this church, we are two churches, one location. We are the church of Bethel and Healing and Peace. Okay, but this right here is the church of Shushan. But I'm going to prove to you that everything that we go through as a people right now today happened in the book of Esther. So we're going to start where Esther was chosen to be queen. Not going to go all the way back to Queen Vashti, but we're going to start right where she was chosen to be queen, because the Lord had beautified her with natural beauty. And the natural beauty and the purification and the sanctification is what got her chosen for the task that she was about to take place. Now, she didn't know. She was a young woman. She didn't know all that was entailed. She was a young woman that did not have a mother, and she did not have a father. She was a young woman that was raised by her uncle Mordecai, and they were Jewish people, Hebrew people, Israelites, they all the same folks. We just call them different names. So they were the chosen people. And they were a people that were chosen by God to do a task. But how many of you know that when you're chosen, the devil don't like you? When you're chosen, the devil is always trying to do something to get rid of you and to destroy you. So it came time when King Ahasuerus wanted to pick a wife, and Esther was chosen. And when she was chosen, he was so happy with her that he gave her some armor bearers. They were called maidens. And so when we are in the church body and your husband is happy with you and you have his favor and his grace, then he gives you armor bearers to help you along your way. First Lady need armor bearers. So she had her handmaidens to help her. He gave her a beautiful place in the palace. He even gave her chamberlains that would give her anything that she needed. So the Word of God tells us, I think we're going to start right here. It says, we're going to start in the 3rd chapter and the 1st verse, and it talks about how King Ahasuerus promoted Haman, the son of Hammedatha the Agagite. And he advanced him and set him in a seat above all the princes. He did not know at the time that he was promoting the devil, because he was the king, but he did not have a relationship with God like that. His wife was the one that had the relationship with God. Not saying that all pastors don't have a relationship with God, because a lot of them do. But in this instance right here, King Ahasuerus didn't know God like Esther did. First Lady Esther. And so all the king's servants that were in the king's gate bowed and reverenced Haman. And you know, the devil has a spirit where they love to be out front. They love drama. They love for people to praise them and stuff. So he enjoyed all that bowing down to him. Well, what upset him was the man of God, Mordecai, that had an eye to see that he was the devil. And he was like, I'm not bowing down to him. And when he did not bow down to him, this made Haman really, really mad. And so he made a big deal about it. He got angry. And he went to the king. And he told the king about how Mordecai would not bow down to me. And because one man of God would not bow down, he wanted to destroy the whole church, all the Jewish people. He wanted to destroy. See, that's how the devil works. One person won't do it. The First Lady don't do it. We just going to destroy Bethel. If First Lady Anderson don't do it, we just going to destroy